A lot of things obviously go into making an exhibit. Just from the standpoint of content, there's finding the proper historical context, in this case the historical context of the Apollo program being set in the 1960s, late 50s, and a little bit into early 70s.
The story we're trying to tell is the South Carolina connection to the space program and the history of that over the many years, and the story of the importance of science, technology, engineering, and math to make these wonderful things happen, and that anybody's capable of doing that. You know, that all that can be done, you know, with the right focus, the right discipline, the right support.
We did title it Apollo Journey to the Moon, and that's the story of obviously getting the astronauts to the moon, but the journey is more than just the actual flight to the moon. The journey is the scientific discoveries, the political battles that had to take place in order to procure funding. The journey involves many different states. And so sort of the journey, in my view, is bringing all these different sort of processes together to actually facilitate what we all kind of know publicly as this flight, this journey to the moon itself. Being a museum, the artifacts are also an important component of it to actually tell the material story, and also to have the proper imagery and sort of individual stories to also bring this sort of larger story of Apollo into full view. All those different things, and just working as a team to pull all that together.
Well, I think the ambiance of the exhibit is different than the ambiance of the rest of the museum. The huge graphics that tell a story that really are encapsulating, then of course the artifacts and the objects. And then the last piece is really the film that we added to the exhibit, and it's a great way to tell the story. We certainly think that there's a couple things around exhibit design that we want to be really cognizant of, that we want to engage people. And then once we engage them, we want to educate them. So the way we engage them is with interactivity. Rather than just reading a panel, if you can actually touch, feel, get on something, that increases the learning capacity of the kids. So we certainly wanted to bring that into this exhibit as well.
I hope that the guests will realize how much nerve these guys had to just go into space. I mean, our smartphones have more computing power than this whole rocket had. And just the dedication and everything, and they're designing this stuff basically with slide rules. And to have enough trust to sit on top of that 35-story rocket and go to the moon took real bravery. And so just the way the whole country got together and made this thing happen, it was really amazing. So that's what I hope that people see, and just how brave they were.
We really want to make sure that the Hall of Heroes that displays all the South Carolina astronauts is something that the kids take away that can inspire to be. So we really want to make sure that South Carolina space connection is a takeaway. And the other thing, just the technology, the huge focus on STEM nowadays. If we can create some interest in young kids relative to the importance of science and engineering and technology and math, what better way to do it than actually show them rockets in space and that connection, because it's still ongoing. Obviously the space station is still flying around, talks now are going to Mars. So there's a lot of potential in the space program, so as part of our exhibit, we wanted to make sure we made that connection as well.
What I hope people really take away from this is that it's not just simply putting a rocket on a launch pad and we shoot it up and everything goes right. It's a far more complex story. It's technologically and politically.
We go to great lengths and great expense to bring the guests a real experience that they can enjoy, and so we just do it for the people of South Carolina.